Hey guys, so who do we have today? We have Paras Goel here. He's a
Hi,
big
everyone.
shot from Dubai.
Not at all.
He is just being humble now. But yeah, we go back a long time now, bro, isn't it? Like,
It's
I
been a
think
while.
it's been a while. Yeah,
2017, 16-ish from UCD
I think
days.
so. Yeah, so I moved to Dublin in 2015. I guess we met each other in 2016 in Dublin as well. This was in uni. But yeah, so here's Mr. Paras Goel. He is in the tech field and he is currently based in Dubai. And he moved to Dubai quite recently.
Yeah,
He loves
just
it
last year.
there and he's pretty much cursing Ireland all the time. He's like, who the fuck wants to live in Ireland after a few months in Dubai? So, you know, all the
Hey,
all, all the Irish
let's.
folk here.
No, it's not like that. I love the country, which gave me so much. It gave me the education that I have. It gave me the
It's
mind
talking about
that
it's
I
talking about Dubai, is it?
have. No, no, no.
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
every country, every place has its pros and cons. Ireland
yeah,
definitely has its pros as well. Dubai definitely has its pros as well.
yeah,
But if we're on this topic, like, it's not that I don't like Ireland. It's just that it's something new for me to be
yeah.
in Dubai and, the grass is always greener on the other side. Uh,
So true.
Everyone has this kind of a honeymoon period whenever you find something new. It's nice and fancy. It's that little shiny trophy that you want to achieve and get. Sometimes things get old, sometimes they don't. I just wanted to experience something new after having lived in Ireland for nearly about 18, 19 years of my life, I suppose. And then
Yeah,
my wife, fiance at that stage, really wanted to move because she had already lived here. So
yeah,
she had got a taste of what it's like to live in Dubai, to get, people cooking for you, people cleaning for you at pretty substantial rates, to say the
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Then, to have the food, the culture, the diversity, the just
Ambition.
the liveliness, I guess. Yeah, ambition is a key thing,
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, look, Ireland is full of ambitious people, but Dubai is on another level. Like, you hear Lambos, Ferraris roaring by, and they don't just happen overnight.
yeah,
They really come to those who work extremely hard. And the competitive spirit that Dubai evokes in you is a pretty major factor as to why I wanted to move here. Other than obviously not having to pay taxes, of course.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
that's a solid Dubai advertisement there, folks. But yeah, no. Before we probably dig into this, if we dial the clock back and kind of know your journey. So, of course, as I said, we go back a long time. We've probably known each other through cricket first. We've been roommates, and yeah. But this guy here comes from India, and he moved to Ireland at a very young age. But I'll let you do the talking. Like, tell us about your journey, and we sort of know that you're in Dubai now. But yeah, what got you to Dubai eventually?
yeah. So I moved to Ireland. I still remember the day very clearly. March 25th, 2006
Oh
was
wow, okay,
the amazing day where I moved to Ireland. Saw green everywhere for the first time, saw a beach, which I'd never seen, having lived in New Delhi, India. The weather was amazing. The people, the weather, everything was just amazing. I went to the house that my father had rented. He was sharing it with someone else, and I saw
right.
carpets. I saw like a carpeted house for the first time. I was like, what the hell is this? I can walk around barefoot in a
Yeah,
house? For me at that age, at that time, it was quite weird, quite odd, and cool, to be very honest.
yeah,
Then joined the school here in Ireland, and I grew up in a town called Drogheda, which is nearly an hour away from Dublin. I went to St Oliver's Community College. And before that, I was in St. Paul's, my primary school. So when I went there for the first time, people were quite, weirded out. Not weirded out, I suppose. It's more like they were interested, they were curious. a brown boy who barely speaks any English. So I was kind of the center of attention. Initially, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best place ever. There's no pollution, there's no dirt. My school is like 16, 17 minutes walk. I love it here.
Right.
Um, and then,
And all of this, like all of this registered to you, like when you did come to Ireland for the first time, you were like as a kid, you were registering all of this where there's no pollution, school is 15 minutes walk away, all the kids are quite cool, they're interested in me,
I
the
guess
carpeted
I look,
house.
I guess the carpeted house was definitely something I was registering, but all the other things I kind of look back on it now and then
Right.
realize that it was very different at that age. At 11, you don't necessarily think too much about the quiet, the pollution-less country, and all those kind of deep things, to say the least. So then after a couple of months, that's when I realized, look, I think I kind of feel lonely here, to be very honest. A lot of my friends that, in India, I started missing them because, we used to speak the same language, we used to like the same food. I was a vegetarian. That was another issue. Like I didn't have much to relate when people are eating,
Meat.
sausages or chicken or uh, mutton or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even at school, I couldn't really relate to that. A lot of people like soccer, couldn't relate to that either. I'm a cricket fan,
Yeah.
of course, play cricket. Then even the music, I never grew up listening to English music. So, sooner or later, I started realizing, you know what? I kind of feel lonely here. And that's when I decided, or that's when I kind of started telling my parents that, look, every time it's summer holidays, I want to go back to India. In fact, I even told them that I'm going to attach myself to the door in India because I do not want to live in Ireland anymore. I've
Right.
had my fair share. It's not that it was because of any major bullying or anything like that. It's just like I just felt a bit lonely. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
It felt more so like people in Ireland had PS2s, PlayStation 2s, and Nintendo Wii's and stuff like that. And I suppose my dad was kind of old fashioned, where he promoted or encouraged studying more so rather than playing all these games.
Right. Yeah.
So again, another topic of contention where I wasn't really getting along that well with others. Then
Yeah. It's the
came
familiarity. Yeah.
yeah. Then came secondary school within 1 or 2 years of being there. Then started making a few friends because it was obviously a more bigger school, so it had a little bit more diversity as well. People from
Mhm.
some towns outside of Drogheda as well. I still remember it very clearly. My first day, made a good friend that it continued on. I did 5 years of secondary school. It was a good time.
Mhm.
And somehow I ended up with decent grades to get admission into engineering. And got into UCD. Again, something I kind of pulled against my parents is that they made me commute 1.5 hours each way for the first 2 years. Have to get up at
As opposed
7
to
a.m. As
as opposed
opposed
to what?
to letting me stay on campus or letting me stay in Dublin,
Right.
like all the cool kids were doing,
Right. Yeah.
getting drunk and having parties in Dublin
Right.
uh, versus me, getting having to commute, wake up at 6:30, catch my 7 a.m. bus, missed it or nearly missed it multiple times. Like it was so funny because the driver, it was the same driver every day, and he used to just kind of shake his head at me anytime I right just as so there were times where I'd literally pull over in front of the bus to block it
Right.
because it was just about to move off at the bus stop, and then I just
Yeah.
arrived,
Yeah.
and he just shake his head like, "What are you doing, man? What the hell are you doing?" But
Right.
look, that's right from childhood. That's been if someone had to ask me what's your biggest weakness, it's going to bed early and waking up early.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll talk about this later, but it's one of the main reasons why I kind of don't want to work. It's not because I don't like my job. It's not
Yeah.
because I don't like my colleagues or anything like that. It's literally just the flexibility of going to bed whenever you want and waking
Yeah.
up whenever you want.
Yeah.
And if you ask anyone in my family, they will tell you that's that's this guy's biggest weakness. Uh, I
Waking up early.
distinctly, yeah, man, waking up early. I just cannot
Yeah.
do it for the life of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, if you eat, like, if you ask some of my teachers in secondary school, they'll tell you this guy used to come in at 9:15. There was this biology teacher I had, Miss O'Connor, and her room was right at the corner. It was just beside the gate at the entrance, and she
Right.
had a back door as well.
Right.
So she'd literally keep that back door open for me. I can't remember what days her class was, but it was always at 9 a.m. on one of the days of the week, and
Right.
she'd literally keep the door open, the back door open for me, so I can enter through that way rather than going all the way around and entering through the front door.
Right.
But yeah, good times were had. College was amazing. Again, due to the higher level of diversity, I was able to make better friends, more friends. Was able to do a lot more things that I actually enjoyed. Like cricket was kind of non-existent
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
my primary school and secondary school. So I got to play a lot of that in college for like one of the first times. I didn't realize Ireland was so big into it. And right up until I got into college, until then, I used to think cricket's just like an Indian sport or an English sport for that matter, but definitely not big in Ireland. Then I realized, oh my God, there's so many clubs playing cricket within Dublin. I can't quite put a finger on the number, but there's at least a good few hundreds of teams, maybe. Now, with the influx of Indian students and Indian people, there's maybe even more.
We're talking about it on a day where Ireland beat India. So yeah,
exactly, man. I had mixed feelings. Like, am I happy or am I sad? Because I was born in India, but then I grew up in Ireland, spent 20 years there. I obviously want the best for Ireland and the Irish team, and it leads to better competition as well, better for sport in general. So went to college, did a master's in electronic and computer engineering. That was a lot of fun. I distinctly remember having conversations with some of the arts students, or even, to be honest, any non-engineering students. Like, we used to start at 9 and finish at 6 most of the days, whereas I don't know, maybe architecture could be one of the exceptions, but like pretty much every other course started after
relaxed.
9. Yeah, like maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And then they'd only have like 2 or 3 days, classes. Other 2 or 3 days would be just, relaxing or doing your projects. Whereas we'd have to suffer 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 5 days a week, project after project. But it was good fun. I have to say, I do look back on that time very fondly. I got to experience freedom for the first time, I suppose, not beside my parents all the time. I was even working throughout the summer, most of the summers while I was in college. So I got to experience the taste of what money feels like. And again, we'll go into a bit more detail on what money is and what it does to you and what I want out of my life to do with money, did my master's electronic and computer engineering. Very, very tough course. Highly recommend it to people if they still want, if anyone wants to go through the pain, because you pretty much never not have a job, whether it be computer science or any kind of engineering.
Right.
And got my first job then in Deloitte, the Big Four, after a lot of effort, a lot of persistence. Actually, my first job was in a company called, I can't even remember. It was a data analytics company anyway. So when I was applying, it wasn't even that well paid, to be honest. It was in Belfast, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to go to Belfast.
This was before Deloitte, is it?
This was before Deloitte, but to join in 2017, September, I got that was my first offer, basically. So then, I got that. I think it was for like 24k pounds, which at that time, translated into maybe 26, 27. Then I got another offer in a company called Zenith Technologies for like 31. I was like, oh, nice. I'm going to upgrade. So I just emailed them straight away saying, yeah, look, I'm not going to join. They were very chill about it. And then I got another offer from Deloitte. And I think it was 1,000 less, if memory serves me correctly. It was 30k.
Right.
But I chose it obviously because of the huge name, the huge reputation, and I knew that it's more related to what I want to do in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, chose that, rose up the ranks for 5 years, starting from analyst to consultant to senior consultant, and then just before becoming a manager, I chose to move, obviously
Right.
for the money.
Yeah.
If you work hard, you want to get rewarded, right?
Yeah.
My next job was Citco. Really, really enjoyed working in Citco, as I did enjoy it as well. But just, if you're getting more money, then why not? People say,
Yeah.
hey, money doesn't buy you happiness. So obviously don't have money, in my opinion. My humble opinion.
Yeah.
Please don't write any negative comments.
Well, if you say that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, look, people have their own opinions, but again, a great 3 years spent at Citco.
Yeah.
Had a great manager, had a great work-life balance, great company to work for. Most of the people there were like 10 years into the company, 15 years. My manager in specific was like 18 years. So
it's a sign of a good company. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership was great as well. And then I just decided, you know what? I want something different from my life.
Right.
I decided that now my fiance at the time has the Irish passport, so we have a bit more flexibility in what we want to do in life, where we want to go. So she'd already been in Dubai for like 3 years. So we decided, you know what? Let's broaden our horizons and look for work in a different company. And around December, I suppose, of 2024 is when we started looking. Maybe 500-ish is the number. It could be plus or minus 50, but I might have applied to 500 jobs on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And obviously directly on random portals and stuff like that. And
Right.
none of them got me even a single interview. And you'll be very surprised to know what got me the interview. Out of sheer desperation, and it's not like me to do something like this, but I just out of sheer desperation, I did it anyway. I went on Facebook groups. I started searching, like, where can I possibly find jobs? I initially posted on jobs in Dubai, jobs in Abu Dhabi, jobs in UAE in general. Got no results whatsoever. Again, my mind, I don't know what it was thinking at the time, but I joined a group called Irish in Dubai, Irish in Abu Dhabi, Brits in Dubai, Brits in Abu Dhabi, obviously, because, it's kind of similar English speaking and all that. And that's where I posted a picture of me and Lucy, my wife, with the caption saying, hey guys, I'm a DevOps engineer and a finance senior accountant looking for a job. If anyone has any leads, please get in touch, with a smiling face of us with the ring, to get that emotional element, the emotional juices flowing as well.
That's great thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked, believe it or not. That's what got me. That's what got me the call. That's what got me the interview. And it was so weird that it was the only interview that I did, and it was the only job offer that I got as well.
Right.
So thankfully, I was able to crack the one interview that I got.
Right.
I'm still working in this company to this date.
Right.
Yeah, it was a crazy ride, having looked for a job for 3 months, not receiving anything whatsoever. It was very demotivating, but my will to go out to Dubai was greater than, I guess, the demotivating factors that kind of were putting me in a different direction. So yeah, man.
That's your journey. Yeah.
It was a very, I suppose, different journey to anyone else, but there you go. That's kind of what my journey has been all the way till now.
That's an amazing journey, man. And that was some really good thinking. I think you're really good at mixing, say, obviously you're from tech background, but just in terms of doing these kind of things, like, say, posting a picture of yourselves and kind of saying that, it's sort of getting that human touch in it, which is great. But yeah, anyway, here we are. That's your journey. And I guess for everyone, we have all the conversations in the world every other day. So we're kind of struggling for topics here, but I think the one topic that we talk about a lot is money. So, what does money mean to you?
Well, money means the world to me.
I don't.
Maybe a lot of viewers may not like it, but it's the truth of life, I suppose. Money does mean the world to me. I know you cannot buy your clothes without money. You cannot buy your food. You cannot go anywhere without money. And people who say otherwise are just deluded, in my opinion.
Right.
Maybe they are too they're too loaded to care, or they're too poor to know the true value. I don't know. Money means the world to me anyway.
Yeah.
I've worked very hard to make it where I am. I try to save money. I try to invest money. I try to put money to good use for me. My aim with money is to obviously become financially free as soon as possible, I guess. But in a nutshell, it does mean the world to me.
Yeah. And would you say like there was any incidents that, like, say, over your life, or was it always the case that you knew that it's really important, or do you know, like, or does it come from somewhere where some scarcity, some incident that kind of made you realize, oh, you know what, it is really important?
Yeah, I suppose it was a collection of things that happened throughout my life. Like, how people judge you is definitely based on your appearance and how rich you are as well. Especially, I feel in an Indian culture, like the kind of clothes you wear, the kind of car you're driving, the kind of house you have, and all those things come from how much money you have. Then on top of that, we came from a very middle class background. And I distinctly remember in India where, before us moving here, like my dad would go through the lengths of taking a different route that so that we wouldn't cross the ice cream seller, just so I won't start asking for an ice cream and he won't have to say no to me. Things like those. And then, being told, no, you have to earn your own money if you want some kind of luxury item, so all those kind of things really told me that, you really need money to do what you want in life, to go anywhere you want in life.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I say money does mean the world. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I'd also agree, like, I don't know where, in my opinion as well, like when people say it's not important, again, they're either loaded or in denial. And it also, I would have similar experiences as well, like in terms of coming from some sort of scarcity. Like I suppose like our parents did their best in terms of, sort of providing whatever they could, but that was the time, which kind of makes you really grateful now as well, I guess, in terms of whatever you can do, I guess. If you could have all the ice creams that you could at that time, I don't know if you'd enjoy it now.
Yeah, true. I kind of agree with you. Like now you don't even think twice about ordering ice cream. At least I suppose privileged enough to be in a position where I don't have to think twice about either ordering ice cream to my house or going out and eating.
Yeah.
And that, of course, does taste a lot better knowing that 20 years ago I couldn't really afford it, and my dad would go through a different route to try and not even make me think about it. Yeah, definitely come a long way from that, I guess.
And then other things similar to that say you do with your kids, like, is it, would you buy them as many ice creams as they want, or how does it, where does it stop? How does it work? Or
I suppose I do sometimes think about these kind of questions, and I feel that my father, I think, raised us really well. Like, if he had given us all the ice creams that I wanted, if he had emptied his bank balance, I think we would not have been able to value money as much as we do now. And I firmly believe the kind of mindset that you grow up with and kind of evolve with right from your early years is the mindset that you kind of stay with. I think there's a study out there as well that says right up until you're 18, your brain, your mind is quite flexible. Then after that, it starts becoming a lot more rigid.
Right.
So if you see money being squandered away and thrown away and stuff like that, and that's the kind of mindset you grow up with, and that you
Mhm.
stop valuing money as much as you would otherwise. So
Yeah.
I kind of, even if I had money, or even if my father had money, I think I would have still wanted him to, show us the value of money and maybe make us work hard. Like, for example, like distinctly remember, I really, really wanted a PlayStation 2. So he said, you know what, even though I have money, I'm not going to give it to you. You're going to have to work for it. So
Right.
he used to tell us, no, look, you need to earn it by vacuuming the house once a week. You need to earn it
Right.
by doing the dishes, and those kind of habits that he inculcated in us worked out for the best for us as well. It made us A, value money more, B, taught us how to do house chores so that we became more independent, and C, maybe, hopefully, made us better human beings as well.
Yeah. And is there anything like that you do differently, like say with your kids, or what do
I
you
would
think
like
about
to
that yet?
say,
Or
I'd like to say I hope not. I'd like to say that maybe I may not take a different route if they want to eat an ice cream once a week or something like that.
yeah.
I feel now, hopefully, I'll be in a much better position to not have to do those kind of things. But I would still try to make them work hard for the money that they might ask me.
Yeah.
I
Still
would
do the
still try
chores.
and, yeah, still
Yeah.
do the chores, still do get your good grades, at least set them up with a good standard, good base, let's say, right up
Yeah.
until they're 17 or 18. And then, they can do whatever they want, I suppose.
Hmm. Yeah. Good grades is also a bit like I often wonder, like how relevant has that been outside of you having done something hard,
Mm.
like having that feeling that you did something hard. Outside of that, how important was most of education? Most of it was irrelevant.
For me personally, I'm an engineer, right? So
Yeah.
I feel the best thing engineering taught me was how to solve problems, and how to solve problems with a mindset of persistence. I feel, no offense to all the non-engineers out there, but sometimes I feel the difference between engineers and non-engineers is that they kind of give up. So let's say they have a problem, they try and solve it for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, 10 days. The thing with engineers is it's over the 4 years or 5 years, it's just ingrained into them that you just have to find a solution. There's a problem in front of you, so you're constantly thinking about it. Yeah, so even while you're sleeping, you're just thinking about that problem. There's just no other way. And I guess that's what it truly taught me. All those modules that I did, the physics ones, the chemistry ones, or the calculus ones, those are not the ones coming into use right now, but it's more
Yeah.
so how to persist with a problem and getting to a
Yeah.
solution. That's what engineering truly taught me. Because the way the world is changing, surely you're never going to use the things that were taught to you in your first or second or third or even fifth year,
Mhm.
but it's that problem solving mindset that you take with you to solve
Mhm.
new problems. And I feel like that's the main thing that I took out of college and engineering.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like, is it so would you say that all engineers end up becoming problem solving machines? Like it really depends on the person. Like I feel like anybody in any sort of field can sort of learn how to learn, and they become problem solvers. They would do great things, but all of this rigidity and say the modules and stuff that has no use. Now, say if you wanted to become a software engineer, maybe physics is useful. Why are we learning about chemistry and stuff? But it's a bit, yeah. Just going back to the point, I kind of feel it's just the feeling of having done something hard, which makes you kind of know that you can persist through hard stuff, which then helps. I agree.
Look, I also do find myself asking this question as well. Like,
Yeah.
why did we learn calculus, or why did we learn Pythagoras' theorem, and
Yeah.
all those kind of crazy things that we never end up actually using, or differentials, and all those random equations. But the answer I sort of come back with is just kind of what I mentioned, like it's to build a sense of discipline, a discipline where you have to kind of, put your head down, study, go to school, wake up early, then come home, eat, build that sense of discipline where, like, what's the difference between us and an animal if we don't do that? I suppose, Then the second thing is, I'll let you have your say, of course. Second thing is, when you're doing your assignments, you're sort of, in a way, held accountable for your actions. So the next day you're going in, if you don't have your assignment done, you get less grades versus someone else who has their assignment done gets better grades, So it's all those things. I know at the end of the day, it is kind of a machine, but I don't necessarily mind it. I have firsthand seen the difference in kids, let's say, who do go to school versus who don't, or people who go to good schools versus people who, let's say, go to less well-off schools, or
Do you mean colleges or do you mean schools?
I actually mean schools. As college is a big thing as well, but if you go back to your early childhood and early years, I think schools plays a major role in your growth as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was an interview I was listening to, and say very wealthy people do homeschooling now, where I don't know, it's the balance between maybe creativity and some sort of discipline. I feel the more disciplined you are, creativity goes away. And the more creative you are, probably you're doing absolutely random things, which are too abstract probably for the world. And then that's also not getting you anywhere. But that's the balance, I suppose. And yeah, who knows what's best to strike that balance. But all right. So back to money and investments and stuff like this. So tell me about, say, your first run into an event and incident where you realized, oh, wow, this is how money works. So investments work this way. Oh, I don't really have to work all the time to make the money. Was there such a light bulb moment where you're like, wow, this is a new dimension?
Yes, I do remember this moment actually quite well. Me and my friend Gavin were doing a project in the project room for our masters. And he just comes up to me and says, oh my God, look at this weird thing called cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I was like, what the hell is that? And he showed me all these charts, and he was like, these random coins go up 5% to 10%, 4%, up and down. And that's what they keep doing. So imagine if we just, invested when just before it's going up, and then took out our money and then invested it back after it's gone down. The swing of 5% could make us millionaires. So I was obviously kind of
why do I feel like this project room is not really a project room? No,
but we did a lot of cool stuff there in the project. We just played darts and stuff like that.
Right.
But anyway, we had many interesting conversations up there. And so he showed me, and he was, he had guts to invest a little bit more than me. I didn't have the guts, so I invested just €100 spread across XRP, Ripple, a little bit of Ethereum, and I bought a little bit of Litecoin as well. It used to be a big thing back then, and I did not even buy any Bitcoin because I thought to myself, look, it's already up so much. How much further can it go up? And this was when Bitcoin was 2,000 baht.
Okay.
So started off with €100. Then in a few months, at that moment in time, it wasn't doing much, even in a few months. It was going up a little bit. So I thought, you know what? Let's invest another €100. And I distinctly remember within 2 years, I believe, those €200 had got converted into 18,000. 18,000. XRP Ripple when just absolutely ripped, to say the least. I think it shot up 100x or something like that. Throughout those 2 years, I bought random shit coins now, as we call them. I even remember some of the names like Power Ledger.
No Dogecoin, no Dogecoin, no.
No Dogecoin, but
Right.
Filecoin. There was these random ones. I used to listen to YouTube videos all the time of random people just, like pump and dump dumpsters, maybe, I guess, because obviously those coins are nowhere to be found now.
Right.
And me and my friend Irvin, we used to have conversations, and he'd used to give out to me about holding Ripple. He used to hate it.
Right.
I used to give out to him about holding Ethereum just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Interesting time. So yeah, anyway, this is where I thought to myself, you know what? This could be when I made 18,000 from 200 euros. I was like, oh my God, this is some serious money. I could just stop working if I continue on this route.
Yeah.
And then, the crash happened, of course, as well. That 18,000 got diluted into like 1,000 euros.
Right.
So that's the crazy ride I saw, and I was tired of 200
Right.
going to 18,000, and then 18,000 getting converted into 1,000.
Yeah.
At that moment, in hindsight, I guess I should have, sold it for better coins like Ethereum or Bitcoin. But you're on a high, like you think you're God. You manifested this. You saw something that no one else saw coming. You invested in Ripple, and that went up 100x. You invested in Cardano, that went up 100x. You invested in Filecoin, that went up 100x. You invested in Power Ledger, that went up as well. So like you're thinking like, I know everything. But in reality, you don't know shit. You just listen to some random guy on YouTube who is just pumping up the coin to later dump it. And I realized that the hard way. But look, it is what it is. At that moment in time, I wasn't even into stocks, but I had got a taste of what investing is like and how people make money without actually working. But like, of course, trading, investing is working, but in a true sense, for us, work is like being on a computer and doing something for your boss, So those are the kind of experiences where I started my investment journey from.
Right. And where did that lead you to? So like, I suppose you were picking up cryptocurrencies and had a good run. And at the side, did you start thinking about some other sort of investments? Did you look into stocks? Did you look into real estate, etc.? Was there like, were those things becoming interesting for you?
Yeah, sure. So I started thinking about real estate pretty much like 1 or 2 years after graduating. So as soon as I got a little bit of savings, I started digging into what I can buy, where I can buy, how mortgages work. And a lot of it is thanks to my father and my grandfather, believe it or not. He's a big hoarder of real estate. He loves real estate, whether it is to buy it himself or encourage others to buy it. He's encouraged my dad to buy it. He encouraged my uncle to buy it. He encouraged other people like his friends, relatives, everyone to buy it.
And sorry, probably I'm cutting you, but is it that generation that they seem to be just so much more comfortable with real estate, and they used to diss stocks so much? Like right now, like I would often question, say, my dad and the uncles in my family, like, how did you not see Google come in? Like, how did you miss that? But yeah, they seem to be big fans of real estate.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. And I suppose it comes down to what they deem to be a non-risky asset. Like they've seen other things happening as well in their life, like Harsh's met that scam, or like my grandfather, for example, he's grown up also investing in stocks, by the way. But in stocks, some people are lucky, some people are not. Some people get too cocky and they think, you know what, for the last 3 years, I've made really good money. Let's start taking more risks. Let's start investing in penny stocks, and let's start diversifying more of my wealth into those kind of things rather than the big S&Ps and all that kind of stuff, So I suppose just his experience was a lot better. He often tells me how he bought his land in Saraswati Ghar where we live for like 83,000, and what that has now turned into its exponential growth, of course. not that we're ever going to sell it, but it's nice to know that we're sitting on crores and crores of real estate.
Land. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that's when I started. I remember having a lot of conversations with you. We also went out to look at a lot of properties.
Yeah.
And I guess I was looking for nearly 2 years. That's near the time when Corona hit as well in 2020.
Yeah. So
just
this is in
before that.
this is in Dublin, Ireland, and both of us were kind of looking for apartments, houses, whatever, and going out for viewings, etc.
Yeah, exactly. We used to have conversations about how, obviously anything is better than renting. Why are you paying a landlord to live there when you can just basically live there for free? We used to
we got a steal though. Like we got a steal out of nowhere. Like we rented out a place initially, which was more expensive, and then we just, by dumb luck, got another apartment which was better and cheaper. So, but we used to have these conversations all the time that rent is obviously it's just completely dead money. And yeah,
absolutely. And look, in your initial years, it's not it's not the worst thing ever to rent out a place when you're sussing out the location, sussing out what you want out of life, and thinking about getting a good property or waiting for just the right one. But the thing that I tell everyone around me and try to tell myself also is that it's always like you can never time the market. So the quicker you buy it, the earlier you buy it, the better it will be. In the long run, it's only going to go up, whether it be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. Inflation is something that you cannot control. And as long as you have people like Trump controlling the world, you're always going to have inflation. Things are always going to get more expensive. Your dollars or your euros are always going to lose value. So you have to continue thinking about other assets that will appreciate against your euros, whether it be real estate or stocks or companies or cryptocurrency or whatever other kinds of assets that people want to get into. So anyway, back to how we went. I was looking for nearly 2 years. I remember going with you. I remember going to Baldoyle to show you a property, and you were like, "Oh wow, this is actually a pretty good area." And I thought to myself, you know what though, but it's quite far. And then I showed you an area that I really, really liked, Ashtown. And you were like, "Oh yeah, this is actually not bad either." And so we kind of switched into where we bought our first properties. I got mine in Baldoyle. You got yours in Ashtown. Really, really happy now with what I bought. I've obviously rented it out, squeezed out as much as possible out of it by, using the rented room relief. Good times, I suppose, were had in that house as well.
Yeah. And I'd agree again, it's probably always best to have bought the house yesterday. There's no better time than today, I suppose. And people talk about inflation and stuff, and this is a very cool line that the value of a dollar is asymptoting to zero. It's gonna go to zero very, very, very slowly. So it's the only way to fight it is probably holding assets, and that's what you're saying there. So that was the first real estate investment you made. And were you doing stocks at the same time, or?
I was not yet. At that moment in time, my whole and sole focus in life was to get my first property. I saved a lot. I saved more than other people might have been able to, I suppose. I tried to, forego all those coffees. I tried to forego all those dinners. I'd look for the cheapest possible petrol if I'm driving the car. There's a website called pumps.ie. I'd look for the cheapest possible kind of food. So I made a lot of, I suppose, little sacrifices that added up, I guess. And then even at that, I obviously still didn't have enough money. So I got my dad to give me a loan as well, quite a good bit. And he was very gracious and happy enough to do that as well, because he apparently, for some reason, likes saving a lot of money in his bank. So, I was able to put that to good use. And now I have 2 loans that I've been constantly paying off, one to my dad and one to the bank.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
But no
that's
stocks
how it
at the time,
went.
as you were saying. Yeah.
No stocks at the time. But then as soon as I bought the house, I then started buying a lot more stocks. And initially, like I said, I started going into random stocks that I didn't really understand, but I kind of learned my lesson from the
Hmm.
crypto crashes and crypto
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
So, and then I was obviously looking at a lot of videos this time as well. So I just decided, you know what? I do not want to mess around. And so I just went straight into S&P 500 without messing around. And even to this date, it's been like, 5 years and my returns have been, I'd say, probably a little bit better than 7 or 8%. So I don't know. I just don't have the time or the willingness to keep researching stocks and find the best
Yeah.
ones out there. It's just too much effort, I feel.
Yeah.
And like you're definitely like when you're working, how could you possibly be better than an analyst who's like an analyst in JP Morgan or some big bank out there? How could you
Mhm.
possibly be better than them when their full-time job is this?
I mean, there's research which says that. So there was a research comparing accountants to children, and children beat
Right.
accountants. And then there's a study of because they keep it simple. Like it's the analyst probably knows the least. Like how would he know? What does he know? And they're probably like spitting out shit all the time where this stock would do this and that and the other, and it never does. And there's reverse Kramer index for that reason probably as well. And but yeah, I do see your point where like if you're not going to research it, it's best to just index it like you're doing, and it'll do the job for you. Yeah.
And I'd also seen many people kind of around me, including my grandparents and my grandfather and my dad as well, who
Yeah.
told me things like, I just hate the stock market. All I did in the stock market was lose money. And
Yeah.
then I asked him, so what did you invest in? And he said,
Yeah.
oh, I invested in some penny stocks here, some penny stocks there that
Yeah.
someone told me was going to be the next big thing. And then I asked him, why didn't you just invest in the index?
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't know. I thought
Yeah.
I'd make more money this way. So
Yeah.
I really truly feel that investing is for patient people.
Mhm.
It's a game of patience. You have to be very, very patient. There is no way to make a quick buck unless you're
Yeah.
extremely lucky or you have some insider knowledge. No one in this world, I firmly believe, knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen to the stock market. I might even say, including Donald Trump. Like he's trying his level best to keep the market stable right now. He's trying to keep it afloat, but it's still going down.
I'd argue that. I don't know if he's trying to keep it stable. He's trying to keep it volatile. Like he's trying to push it in the direction that he wants and kind of profit out of that, which he is. He's making trades based off. So if he's going to say the war's over, he'll make trades based off that. And if he's going to say, I'm going to fuck Iran, he's going to make trades based off that. But having said that, yeah, but I'd agree that nobody knows what's going to happen. Like again, there's a Charlie Munger quote which says that so somebody knows that this stock is going to do 100%, and instead of buying it, I'm going to write it in this article for you. It's never going to happen. Like they don't know. Like nobody knows. So it's nobody knows. Yeah, and but the kids versus accountants study is interesting, where kids buy what they like. So if they like Starbucks, they'll buy Starbucks. If they like McDonald's, they'll buy McDonald's, and they'll stay with it. And analyst will mess it up.
Yeah, that's a fair point, and I think I'm going more towards now the things that I actually use. For example,
Yeah.
if you're using an Apple laptop, an Apple phone, why don't you have Apple stocks? If you see half the world is using them, why don't you have? If you're using Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, why don't you have Microsoft stock? If you're using Google Sheets, if you're using Gmail, why don't you have Alphabet stock? So I think I'm going more towards that approach as well. Just find the right days where it's a red day for some of these companies that you really like, and just go ahead and buy. And of course, on top of your S&P 500, so I've set up this SIP standing order, whatever you want to call it. A certain amount of money just goes into it, no matter what.
Yeah.
If I'm, it goes into that before it goes into my savings account, let's say. Like if I don't have food, it's never come to that. If I don't have money for food, so be it. But it
Yeah.
needs to go into this S&P SIP anyway. And
He's a killer. He's a killer, guys. Yeah.
I mean, look, my aim is to retire as early as possible, hopefully by the age of 40.
Yeah.
It's a corpus of, I don't know if I should be saying this, but look at 10 million USD. You have to make some stern decisions, I guess, to get to that level.
And I suppose like we've had this discussion before, like a few questions coming off that. Like, so like you get to 40, you have 10 mil. And I don't know, like, would you be able to enjoy it? Would you still be like, maybe I can invest a bit more now, because you've built those habits, like we were talking the other day. Like, if we look at our parents, it seems to be that way. They've saved.
Look, I don't know the answer to this question because when I was in college, and if someone had told me that in 10 years' time you will be at this level, you'll be earning this amount and you'll have this much saved over, I would not have believed them. I would have told them that sounds like rubbish. That just sounds unachievable.
It's too good. Yeah.
Too good to be true. Exactly. To answer your question, would you be able to let's say take a business class, just even though you think I don't know the answer to that question because I've grown up always looking for value for money. I don't know if 10 million is enough for me to think that the difference between, let's say, a 600 economy flight versus 3,000 business class flight, business class is worth it. I don't know. Right now, I cannot justify it. But maybe, just maybe at that stage, I might be able to. Because, when you compare, let's say, an Irish taxi for 100 euros versus an Indian taxi in India for like 200 versus, even though you can get a bus for like 5 rupees, you'd still be like, you know what? No, I'd rather not go through the hassle. I'll just take the taxi for 200 rupees, which is, whatever, 20, 40x difference. And maybe, just maybe, if I have 10 mil in the bank, I might get to that level where bus versus taxi or business class versus economy. I'll be like, you know what? It's just pennies for me now. I'll just take it.
Yeah. That's probably a good analogy.
By the way, I hope I can do that because I would think 10 mil is enough for me, my wife, my future children, to, enjoy their lives.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. No, you make, that was a good analogy. All right. But that's what I wonder. Like you build these habits to kind of build a corpus and then those habits don't leave you. But
It's a tough question to answer, and I guess I don't know what
but you gotta get to 10 million. That's true. You gotta get there first and then we'll see. Yeah.
Exactly. That'll require blood, sweat, and tears, but so be it.
Yeah.
What's that number for you?
It's not that high, man. It's not that high. I think somewhere between 2 and 3 mil would be good. Like say, in terms of like, I think we've talked about this as well. Like, but in terms of desires, there's nothing really left. Like in terms of like any materialistic desires that I can think of. That I want this, that, and the other. I just want to be free. Like you said, like having time to yourself would be great. Focusing on things that you'd want to do. Like obviously this guy and myself, we are co-founders in a company and we'd like to focus more on that. And it'll be good to focus on things you're interested in. It's there's only so much time you have. And like you're sitting in meetings, which, frankly, like, I don't know, like, what are they adding to?
I agree. And the bigger thing is that you're basically working for someone and you're making them money. So you're going to work at 9, coming back home at 6. You're putting in all this time for someone else to become richer. It's like renting a house. It's similar to that. You're making that other person richer. Why aren't you doing that for yourself? Why aren't you spending 9 hours on your own product, your own idea?
Now,
everything has the right time.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, and I do like at the same time, I would say that it's fair enough for people who do want to do that, like who don't want the headache, like who are like, I'm happy in a job, they pay me a check and I'm happy with this salary and I don't want to take the stress of doing anything of my own. Like why would I do that? done my education. I have a great job and I'll stay here, which is great. Like, but I don't know, like, I think you gotta maybe identify who you are. And I don't see myself as that. So yeah, just if you have any idea, I think you should at least give it a go. And as you said, there's a time for it. Like you built to it. We couldn't have done it while we were renting a house and we were starting out in a job, and we couldn't have done it then. But yeah, we'll get there.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely, man. We have to get there. The way I see it, there's no other option other than to succeed, because,
Yeah.
you're going to fail a lot of times, but it won't be a true failure until you stop actually trying, right?
Again, like this, like, so before we started recording, like I was saying, nobody's noticing your failure. You're not
Yeah.
that important. There's people much more important than us, and nobody pays two hoots to them. It's really, like, most of the things that you end up not doing is because of the fear of what would these people say.
Yeah.
And XYZ or yourself or whatever. And none of it is important.
True.
The goal or whatever, like the thing you're interested in is probably important, and you should do it. Like when you're playing cricket, are you thinking about, I mean, you might, so when you go out to bat, like somebody would say that if you get out on 0, they'd say, oh, what a loser. Fair enough, but I'd still go out to bat.
Of course, yeah.
Like, so I do want to go out and bat. I'm not going to stop because I may get out on 0.
Yeah. That's a very good way to think about life in general as well, I feel. Yeah, 100% agree with you. If you have an idea, you should definitely go out and do it. And you know what? Even if halfway into the idea, 60, 70, 80% into the idea, you realize that, you know what? I didn't like this. I don't want to do it anymore. You'll have learned so much from it.
Yep.
Those starting steps, the steps you took to, let's say, form a company, the steps you took to go out to visit a client, like, all those things help a lot. And even if you decide at the end of the day that, look, I just want to go back to doing my job, even then it'll benefit you.
100%, man.
So,
yeah. Like you really, as you said, like you learn so much, and this has happened to us, by the way. Like we did start something in like maybe 10-20% into it. We changed routes and got into something else. So that is going to happen. But you can't really predict that. You got to start and see where it goes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for yourself, then, is there, again, like we have talked about this, and most of it is for the audience here, but like for yourself, is there any materialistic thing that you kind of think that you want and you haven't had it yet?
No, honestly, no. Again, consider me in a blessed state right now. Yeah, look, I have my own house. I have my own car. Both of them are on loan, but they're still mine at the end of the day. Yeah. I get to eat whatever I want. I mean, to an extent, I want to be fit and healthy, but
yeah. But that's by choice.
Have the ability.
If you're not, exactly. Yeah.
I have the ability to buy whatever food I want. So there's no materialist. Like I don't have any desires to buy like a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, because I just feel that they're not good value for money. Again, that's my
framework.
Maybe my culture, my framework, my positioning in life. I just want good value for money. That's it. What I truly want is just that freedom to, be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, at my own conditions, I guess. Again, as I mentioned, waking up whenever I want.
That's number one.
One of my, absolutely.
Yeah. But so two questions in the back of that. Like, so what's the first is like, what's the most non-value for money thing that you've bought or done?
Non-value for money.
Like where you did it, and in hindsight, you're like, oh shoot, why did I do that?
I don't think there was anything that big, at least. It could have been like some kind of food that maybe I went to a really, really expensive restaurant just to kind of experience the ambience. Right. And then after getting there, I realized the food is shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go and eat from a highly rated restaurant rather than a fancy one.
Yeah.
But most of my big decisions, at least, I do put a lot of thought into them, whether it be
Right.
buying the house or buying the car or buying
Yeah.
whatever. I do put a lot of effort and emphasis into getting good value for money for myself.
Have you ever paid a parking ticket or something like that? Were you
Like a fine?
ever clamped? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you have.
I've been
Yeah.
clamped. Yeah, of course.
Right.
I've been clamped multiple times. I've been fined multiple times. Yeah, I mean, look, that is painful, but
Yeah.
you kind of just smack yourself in the head and say to yourself that, look, from now on, I need to drive at a better speed. And then you tell yourself you need to park like a human being and don't just park in no parking areas.
Yeah,
What
fair
about
enough, fair
you?
enough.
What do you think is the biggest non-value for money you might have bought or that you maybe are not so proud of?
Yeah, like a parking ticket came to my mind. Like my car got clamped once, which was like on a rented car early in the days, while when
Okay.
like in the initial years when I'd come to Ireland, and it was big money like back then,
Yeah.
which pinched me a lot. Again, like in terms of big decisions, I don't think, maybe because we've not taken as many decisions as well. Like it's not like we've gone into multiple assets and looking back you'd have some major regrets, but no, not really. Like no, nothing as just small things like these, like I said, like a clamped car, or this would have happened to me as well, where I would have gone to some fancy place and regretted it, because you have to pretend that you are as fancy, which I'm not, and then you have to pay the bill, which is it's a double whammy.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
kind of leading on from this topic, here's something I've noticed. Sometimes, which you don't perceive as good value for money, I sometimes like taking the risk. And if it's not the worst, absolute worst ever value for money, I just like to do it anyway.
Okay.
For example, let's say, I don't know, you're trying to go to an amusement park, right? You may think that Disneyland or Disney World is not worth the $400 that they're charging you.
Mhm.
I'd probably just rather do it anyway, because at the end of the day, after a week, after a month, after a year, you're not going to be thinking much about the $400 or 400 euros, but you're going to be thinking about the experience that you had.
Yeah.
That's kind of a different mindset that I also like to apply sometimes. Because if you're just constantly thinking about best value for money, you're not going to be able to experience things.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, they could be, they don't necessarily have to be good value for money, but someone has priced them, thinking that other people are going to buy it, and other people are buying it, Disneyland, Disney World, whatever, that's just an example, but there are products being sold, services being sold. So obviously the people buying it do think it's good value for money.
I agree. I mean, to an extent, I agree. Like it depends. So say, would you buy a Louis Vuitton? People are paying for it. People are buying, probably queuing for it and buying it. So it's so subjective is what I'm probably trying to say. Like, I agree. Like, when you're saying a Disneyland, plus it's an experience. Like if you wanted to skydive, I don't know what it costs, but it's probably not cheap. But it's an experience. You'll never forget it. But you'll probably forget that bag.
Yeah, exactly. True. I agree. And also, like, maybe I might, buy a Louis Vuitton once or twice in my life. Then I'd realize, you know what? It's genuinely not good value for money. And then I'd be like, it broke after like a year, same as my Primark bag or my Primark shirt which ripped in like 2 years sometimes, So like, I'd weigh the pros and cons, be like, you know what? Okay, it kind of goes back to the point where I don't mind sometimes experimenting with those things, which I don't necessarily feel are good value for money, but I just kind of do it anyway.
Right. Yeah. But it seems like they're more experiential things that you're talking about in terms of like Disneyland and
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Like there could be other times where, like for example, recently we bought an electric scooter, right? And we
Right.
had many options. We could buy the cheaper one, which had a range of like 10, 15 kilometer,
Yeah.
but we went for the fancy 80 kilometer range,
Right.
So things like those where I don't
Yeah.
necessarily mind experimenting and going all out sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another example, it could be like a monitor, like a 24, 27-inch nice monitor will give you just as good of a time, maybe. But, I had to go all out and I bought a
Yeah.
34-inch curved monitor,
Right. Right.
But I suppose there's a bit of, I think it's good value for money. I think I can be more productive. I think I can learn better. I think I can do my job, let's say 20% quicker. So
Yeah.
I saw value in it. So I just went for it.
Yeah. 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 No, that makes sense. Yeah. The other question I had was like, so say like you were saying that you like to wake up late and go to bed late, and so describe to me like an ideal day. Like what would you? But you have to work. Like it's not like you could work on whatever you want. You could pick whatever you want to work on, but not really not do anything.
Right. The most ideal day would be, look, I don't mind working 8, 9, 10 hours. That's not the issue here. The issue here
Yeah.
is that
You have
if
to
I had a
start at
late
9.
night, yeah, exactly. If I had a
Yeah.
late night, I
Yeah.
should kind of have that flexibility that if this guy woke up at 10 or 11 or 12, then his whatever 8 or 9 hour counter starts. Or if in fact, I don't particularly even want to have this counter. Like, I can work over the weekend as well. Then whether it be working on Saturday or Sunday or even during my public holidays, let's say.
Mhm.
It's that whole free mindset where I'm not working because I'm forced to work, but more so
Yeah.
I'm working because I want to work.
Yeah.
And I feel like you end up actually working even more when you want to
Yeah.
work yourself. I noticed that myself in the times during Corona, when everyone was working from home. So it gave me that flexibility, a little bit of being able to wake up later. And I genuinely saw myself, being on the computer sometimes till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, just out of pure joy of, loving what I'm doing and having the flexibility and then choosing to work rather than
Yeah.
being asked to come into the office at 9, then go home at 5:30. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want, I guess, out of life.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, like there's a time and place for everything, and maybe right now that's not the right time, but I hope to see that time for myself in the next 5 to 10 years, I suppose.
So say over that day, you'd wake up on your own time, work on your own thing, and you can work late hours, but just you decide what hours you work.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm a night owl. I often find myself just holding random things at 1 a.m., So
Yeah.
and then I don't want to be told, if I work till 1 a.m., I don't want to be told, yes, you still have to come into the office at 9 a.m.,
Yeah. True.
That's the kind of flexibility I guess I want.
Yeah.
Would you
fair enough.
resonate with that kind of sentiment?
100%. Yeah. I'm probably a night owl myself. I could totally relate with your school bus story. So I was never on time on the school bus. And so in my junior school, it started, I think, at noon or something. Would you believe that? It started at noon and I was late for that. And, and like, so I think it was probably fourth standard or something when it just switched to the normal school hours where you had to be in at 8 a.m. or something. And it was a shock in my life. And I used to be sick all the time and it was crazy. So, but yeah, can't get up to save my life in the morning. And it's like each day, like I have to get up early and then at night I have to struggle to go to sleep. So it's a bit of a problem. So yeah, I would love the freedom, would love the choice to sort of decide what hours I want to work. And yeah, as you said, like 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever hours is fine. But yeah, if you can choose the hours you work, I guess everybody would sort of like that.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I guess We've been talking for a while now. This is first to the many, guys. We'll probably come up with more episodes about founders, business people, some more finance topics, and we'll see where this goes. Any
Yes.
closing remarks?
Yeah, look, it was a great conversation. I got to kind of relive my last 20, 25, 20 years each through through the conversation we've just had. It was a really good conversation. Got to reflect a lot on some of the good things that happened, maybe some of the not so good things that happened. But whatever happened led me to where I am right now, and I'm forever grateful to whoever was in my life that led me to exactly where I am. Because one of the best cities in the world, one of the best wives in the world, and life is good, man. Life is
That's
good.
it. That's it. Yeah, I was having I was having a talk with one of my cousins, and he was asking in hindsight. So our family had a business, and he was kind of asking me, "Do you, in hindsight, think that you should have done that?" I was kind of going, "This is the best timeline I'm living. Like, I can't think of any other timeline I'd rather live." And it seems that it's somewhat what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. People are always thinking, "Oh, in 5 years I'll do this," but you kind of have to learn to live at the moment a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And the grass is always going to be greener on the other side. But let me tell you, friends, it's not always the case.
Yeah, but I don't know. Lately, I kind of feel it's not even the case, where I kind of feel the grass is greener on the other side. Like, I'd rather not live anywhere else. I'd rather, only thing again, like, yeah, as we were talking about, like, just doing my own thing would be the only checklist item left, I guess.
Yeah. You seem to be more kind of in a Zen Buddha sort of state, and I'm quite envious of that. Maybe I'm not there just yet, but I try every day to be happy with what I.
But I feel you are, like, I think I kind of feel like I'm very restless as well, but it's already too good. Like, I often say to you, like, it seems it's too good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we were trying to compare, like, where we stand in like the world, and where we stand in Ireland and stuff like that, and we can quite comfortably say that we're probably in the top 10% throughout the world, maybe. And not a lot of people can say that, I guess. So it's a pretty good place to be in. Like, a lot of people work tooth and nail, fight tooth and nail to get to where we are. So we kind of have to count our blessings where we can,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's episode 1 with the Paras Coil. And as I said, like, we'll keep it going, and we'll try and talk about different interesting topics, and we'll see where this goes.
All right, let's do it, man. Nice chatting with you.
Same here, man. All right. Talk to you.
Talk to you. Bye.